to your tips. Daggy flying solo this afternoon to get stuck into the first Group 1 meeting of the 2024 year as Caulfield hosts the Orr Stakes. We've also got a great card from Randwick to look at. Unfortunately, we've lost Beaver, who is in business land today. But nonetheless, we will get stuck into this. Let's kick off at Caulfield with the track being good, the rail in the true position. All systems go. Best track in Australia to bet on when it's playing fair, and tends to do so in this setup. So looking forward to getting stuck in. We kick off with a 2,000 metre benchmark 100. And I'm going to kick off with the leader in the first, which is generally a nice way to start the day at Caulfield, and that's Independent Road. Keeps getting gifted these soft leads. This prep keeps winning. I like the fight it showed last time out ahead of the favourite. When it got confronted, it fought on well. Jai McNeil's stuck. It's $5, and at that price, I can't see it missing a place. If we get an each way value around it, it is clearly on top. Flash feeling obvious was the flashing light, so to speak, in that lead up from the valley. Wouldn't talk you out of backing it if that's the way you wanted to play. And I think that's a race. I know Bermudez won all right last time out, but it had to win that race. Can it springboard off it? Perhaps, but without me. The second is a 2,400 metre benchmark 78, and I'm going to stick with the flashing light here in the lead up, which is Oceanic Flash. Mickey D takes over. It was a good run there, straight up to the 2,500 last time out. Comes here, gets a decent run from gate 3, around the $4.65 mark. Looks pretty good to me. I'm going to put it on top. From Chevalier Defoe, right stable, lightly raced, and will run well again, being up on pace there. The scratching in this race interests me, actually. Piercing Sky, it's gone to Adelaide in one of the earlier races. I think it'll win, so follow that over at Morphettville. The third is benchmark 70, 1,600 metres. I assume another Will's staying here from Sydney, and it'll win this. It's a nice horse, backed as if unbeatable. First up, it was unbeatable. Trotted in there, comes here, gets a similar run. Gate 12, I hope can find a running line. Can't even push forward and be outside lead. I think it's better than these and has plenty of upside. Going to make the danger Vinny Spirit, who finally broke through, getting everything its way at Lakeside. But what you see is what you get at Caulfield. It'll be no disadvantage being on pace there. Next best for the early quaddie will be Zambogini. Freshened up, a nice jump out since. The fourth is a 1,400 metre Group 2, the Orr Stakes. And I'm going to give Carbonados one more chance here. Forgiving last time out, put up lame, got the tongue over the bit, had excuses. Now gate 1 should push forward here, may well even lead this race. It's a little bit of pace here, but not a heap. And around the $6.50 mark, I'm going to suggest it's a nice horse. It goes on top, and I think we're only getting a price because of what happened last time out. Could be wrong, but let's see how this plays out. Respect anyone who wants to back Southport Tycoon. That line through V8 looks fair enough to me. And Zipaway is a handy horse. Interesting runner here. Comes through all the Group 1 stuff from Ascot, chasing the likes of Dom DeShoot and co. I think that form will stack up here. Interested to see where it's headed. I assume the Guineas, so he's here to run well. The fifth is the Group 3 Carlyon Cup. Traditional crappy little field they've put together for this of milers, but best horse in this race is Foxy Cleopatra. It's going to be very hard to beat here. Just forget about that bog run last time out at Ballarat. Freshened up, fantastic jump out since. I think it just tags Paperboy. And all things being equal, Blake Shin's found gate 1 a few times on this card. All things being equal, I think it'll win. From Young Werther, best horse. Jump out was good enough. Will run well, perhaps needing the tick over just to get going again. And I'd want to see something from Yonce. I know the money's come for it, but just been okay, 2 runs to date. I assume this is probably the goal, but we'll go with the Bus and Young Runner on top in the fifth. Race 6 is the Blue Diamond Prelude for the Colts and Geldings. 1,100 metres, Group 3. I'm going to go as the last start track winner here. Blake Shin, gate 1 again in high octane. Very impressive last time out. A bit green, raced about in the straight, but put that field away quite comfortably. I think there's upside, and it is on top. Interesting, Zara's chosen a stablemate. Whether that's a lead or not, we'll see. I thought it was ridden out in the trials, and they're fine. Just think there's a bit more upside here with high octane. Wanted to price down the bottom Cardiologist I'll keep an eye on, and may even, we'll throw into the exotics at least, and the early quaddie, and could be the top pick for the Price Kent team as we head towards Blue Diamond. Jump out was under double wraps and pretty good. Quaddie itself kicks off in race 7, the fillies version of the Blue Diamond Prelude. Group 2, the girls get. And Mark Zara holds the key here with bold Bastille. Fantastic debut. Impressive. I know it was 1,000 metres at Valley, but just ran away as it liked. Beat a few key rivals here. I think on the back of fantastic trials, it's going to be very, very hard to beat. Nice horse. Bring on the Blue Diamond for it. I think it wins here and goes on to be very hard to beat there. I don't really have a lot to add about the rest of that race. The 8th is the Rubiton Stakes for the sprinters, 1,100 metres. Another Group 2 on this juicy little card. And Asfura is all but a Group 1 mare. Resuming in this, looks perfect. Gate 6 going to get a great run. Can lead, can tag, if anything else wants to take it on. Not a heap of other leaders. Assume hypothetical Gate 9 pushes forward, but there's not a lot else. Great kickoff point. It's going to be hard to beat in all the sprints going forward. I think it'll win this. Dangers, blue colours, both trialled really well. Zapateo, we know well enough, but the trial was good. And Kalos, another nice trial. Blake Shiness. If swoopers are in play, I'll make it another chance in this one. Just taking on all that, summer form, Mornings and Glory and Co. Had enough of them. Real horses are back now. Speaking of real horses, the first Group 1 of the year is the 1,400 metre CF4 Stakes. 1,400 metres at weight for age. And even money, Mr. Brightside. Don't know. I really want to defy Pride of Jenny here. I've sort of decided that probably wants to run and second up miles at time to strike, but did have a lovely 1,400 metre run last prep where it was wide first up last time out, went to the mile and then helped Amelia Chill break the track record. So thinking second up's a place to be with it, but looking forward to seeing it come back. I'm going to actually put Pericles on top here. I think that stuff through the rich 4-year-old race is good. The Japanese horse there, the Golden Eagle race I'm thinking of. Trials have been really good. Zara on Stalks right in the back of Buffalo River, and I assume Pride of Jenny. And at $8 at the each way, again's another one that you're going to be right up to your eyeballs in the finish here. Mr. Brightside, what you see is what you get. One of the most honest horses in Oz. Get stuck in if you want to take even money. I would not talk you out of it again. The last is 1,100 metre Group 3 for the 3-year-old fillies, and a very interesting little race to finish the day. And blank to blank looks a bit obvious here. Trials were good. Great run from Gate 2. The run in the slipper was good. And the form around Learn to Fly, Steel City and Co. is fine. Question on that really early 2-year-old form would be the only knock. As a result, I'm just going to have a little spec on a couple others away from that. Amasira, 3 wide the whole way and was absolutely arrogant, debuting at Pakenham last time out. I know it was just Pakenham Maiden, but geez, it was very, very classy to watch. D-Lane at around the $7.50, $8 mark will be my best result in this race. And for my own sanity, I'll have something on Ulanova, who keeps trialling like a superstar. Hasn't bought it to the races in Australia just yet, but had genuine excuses both times out. Soft gate, suck run, $23. Worth something, in my opinion. Excuse me. I'm stuck with a quaddie now without Beaver here, so let's see if we can produce a quaddie double on CF4 Stakes Day. First leg, 1 bold Bastille. Anything else? Let's go 7 In Her Eyes. Second leg, 2 Kalos, 4 Asfura, 5 Zapateo, 14 Hypothetical Fresh from Mickey D. Third leg, 1 Mr. Brightside, 2 Pericles, 8 Pride of Jenny, and we'll come home with 1 Ulanova, 3 Lazargo, 7 Blank de Blanc, 8 Australia, and 12 Amasira, 14 Vivanti. We'll go a bit wide because we've got a couple of skinny legs there, and I think that's the best chance of getting a result in that last. My best on the card's going to be race 7, number 1, Bold Bastille, but really think we can pile into a few of these favourites. I think Another Wheel's going to be hard to beat, Asphira hard to beat, Foxy Cleopatra hard to beat. And my value, apart from the couple in the last I mentioned, we'll go race 1, number 2, Independent Road. As I said, I don't think it can miss a place here at $5. That looks value to me. Quick plug for footy and frothies. We've got our full season of rugby league preview coming up this Sunday afternoon. Barney, myself, the Gump, and GT will get stuck into each and every team, spend a bit of time on all of them, look at the ins and outs and who's going to play well this rugby league season as we head towards trials next weekend, which is exciting. You can find it on the Footy and Frothies YouTube channel as well as on Spotify. 5 years into that show. Check it out. Plenty of good insight and a beer or two along the way. Randwick is apparently a soft track with some bit of rain around in the morning, but I would have thought had to play good with the rail true. Again, all systems go for a good day's racing. Going to kick off with a mile, the Midway handicap, as we tend to do. And if we're making ground, I'm going to back both these David Payne runners at the top here in Mahagoni and Montefelicity, both dropping back to midway grade from okay runs last time out. And I think they're going to be very hard to beat. There could be a lack of pace, which is the only concern, given they'll both be back and close to last. But Kitterborn getting the lead with Saturnus, hopefully along quick enough to bring these two in, both at double figures, I think is a worthy play. Second is the Lonhro Plate, 2-year-olds over the 1,000 metres. And I love the trials of Embassy here. Money's come for it today. It was $8 on the forms, now $6.50 just where I'm looking now. Both trials are absolutely fantastic. Maps well here to get a decent run. Maps, well, Racing New South Wales is mapped to lead, actually. Not quite sure about that. Probably does keep a node out wide. And I just thought the favourite was very short. Perhaps pushes on and leads, but Embassy, again, at the each way, going to be very, very hard to beat. Castanea at double figure odds was not a bad debut. Worth thinking about for exotics. And at 100 to 1, I think down the bottom, right down the bottom of Turbinado, seems completely ignored by the market. Odd to me, but the stablemate does have ability. The third is the mile benchmark 78. We've got a midweek race here, and I'm going to stick with the midweek winner in Hell Hath No Fury. It just keeps finding the right spot. Last 3 runs, it's just lobbed exactly where it needed to, ran well, and got the job done. I think it does it again. Collett knows the horse well, and just looking at this, either outside lead or 1-1, looks perfect. Not a great deal of pace, and hardest to beat. Yeah. The rest of these don't particularly excite me. Look, Nanas Wish did win last time out, but took everything it had. Everything that Jay Collett had to get the job done, and it's gone with the other one. So let's stick with Hell Hath No Fury in the third. The fourth is the Highway, 1,200 metre, a Class 3, as they tend to be. And I messaged a mate when Belvedere Boys won at Doomben, pretty arrogantly, and said, there's a future Highway winner on the way. It's lobbed here the month later, and I think it'll win. Needs a little bit of luck from being back in the field, but Hippo takes over, and it's going to be very hard to beat. Lightly raced, plenty of upside, and an average Highway. Look, same for Rapidash. Disappointed when it did come to town, but is better than that. I guess we'll make that the danger. All of this other stuff from right out in the bush doesn't necessarily interest me too much. The fifth is a benchmark 78, 1,300 metres. And I'm going to stick with my boy that's done it a couple of times, and that's my girl, in fact, Dakota Vroom. Tommy Berry escaped the coffin last time out. Great call there. And now third up, flying, good horse, I think, and very well bred, good horse. Dry track is the key, and it's going to be right in this race, around a 550. It's on top. Gently rolled, has to run well. Look, I'm a little bit back in my I've banned Zach Lloyd mode, so I've gone around it, but I think this last start's good enough to be right in the finish here. Wish I'd seen more from How Good Are You. In a previous life, I would declare it immoral, but trials, yeah, we're just there, we'll say. So looking for the third upper here in Dakota Vroom. The sixth is the Eskimo Prince, the first of the group races, 1,200 metres, For the 3-year-olds, great race. Just about race of the day, actually. You could make a case for any of these, and I'm going to make the case for Griff. Gate 1, Ben Mellum could almost lead this. I suggest just put it all together. The back end of the last prep was really good, including winning the Guineas. Trials were good. Chugged along under its own steam, and it's going to be very hard to beat here. Mapped leaders back here. We'll see how that pans out. You can make a case for all these, as I said, so without listing all of them off. Moravia, Tom Kitten, for the sake of me going 1, 2, 3 is the way I will look at the race. The quaddie kicks off with the Inglis Millennium, the other 2-year-old race, a restricted listed race, I assume. Yep, restricted listed race to the Inglis horses. Couple of mil up for grabs. And I like Odinson as a horse here. Big day out for Dylan Brown McDonegal, who comes back to Australia and, lobs on a good chance in a couple of $1 million race. It comes through the nursery, which sort of looks like the obvious lead-up. Trials were good again. $6 on top for me. From Beer Baron, who's 20s, fought out the finish with Odinson that race. Market's just forgotten, but is T. Berry in a $2 million race stalking in gate 1, so with even luck, I think will run better than those odds suggests. Gay would have fully lit ready and round up. It's going to run as you'd expect it to run. And there's some other bits and pieces we'll get to when we get to our quaddie. Race 8 is a benchmark 84,000 metres. Very good little sprint race here. Interesting little sprint because we get to see what Frilled has having to now come to a Saturday Sydney meet, which is not yet done yet. Is undefeated in trials and races, so wouldn't knock you sticking solid. It's going to lead here. Does have pressure from Omni-Man. Just going to go with the narrative that Reynoso gets a great run here. Just straight in behind the pace. Lobs behind those 2 leaders if they cut at each other. It's going to be right place, right time for Hippo. Around the $11 mark. It's going to go on top for me. From Derry Grove, loses Nash, gets Tommy, who's probably the money man on the card tomorrow, and runs well again. And as I said, those 2 leaders, both in the game, Omni-Man and Frilled, feels short to me. I think you get a better price about Frilled. That said, at the moment, supposedly the money has arrived, as they say. The 9th is a mile handicap. Market's right for this one. I'm just trying to think of the best way to phrase this without being boring, but there isn't one. Victorious will roll forward and lead off a win. That was pretty good. Marquez resumes. It's going to be on its back. Is it good enough to get past it? Look, I think it is. I think it's a nice horse, potentially the best horse in this race. Trials are fine. I think they're the 2. I'm going to just lean towards the leader with not a lot of confidence. I think I have a big bet in this race, but they'll be the 2 I'll just single out in the quaddie in this case. Let's wrap up with another sprint, 1,200 metres. Benchmark 78. And look, Tinktookie does look very obvious here with our Kobe son coming out and being so impressive again last time out. Gets a nice run. Finds running line. If that's the place to be, it will be winning. Nice way to finish the day. From She's an A-lister, which looks like something out of Beaver's search history, while you look at that word. And yeah, that's about it. Not a lot else I want to add. I think it looks pretty obvious. And that's why I'm going to make race 10, number 3, Tinktookie, my best on the card. My value will be race 2, number 2, Embassy. Price has been sniped a little bit, but still looks juicy enough to me. Sydney quaddie, first leg. Just bring this up. We'll go with 1 Odinson, 2 Rue de Royale, 3 Beer Baron, 4 Fully Lit, and 7 Trunk. 12 Rag Queen will throw in as well. Second leg, 2 Omni-Man, 3 Derry Grove, 5 Reynoso, 8 Frilled. Third leg, just the 7 and 8, Marquez and Amor Victorious. And we'll come home with 3 Tinktookie, 6 Seguso at 50s, 7 So Good So Cool, and 9 She's an A-lister. Should get you just over 50% for $100, that one. Well, 62, but I've added the extra one in. Look at me, math on the fly. That's it. Look through Sydney and Melbourne. Any other horses I'll point out around Australia. I don't have anything from Beaver in Queensland. So let's just, as I mentioned Morpheville, race 2, number 6, Piercing Sky. Sent over there, should roll forward and be very hard to beat. Lightly race stayer. Crossing the border. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sticking around. Leave some comments below. some feedback. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already as we rebuild the Show Us Your Tips channel. And we'll do it all again with our midweek show next week. Take care, guys.